Welcome, beautiful, divine masculine, and feminine darlings. This is the Seraphim Gypsy, SeraFae Indigo Empress, and Shiloh Horizon. I don't plan to be here for too long, but I do have a little reading to share. Just finished up some cooking. I'm actually still cooking. And some cleaning. Hi, baby kitty. And a couple of other tasks. So while I'm in between them, first energy. Karmic energy. So their highest ideals, what would have been highest benefit for them, was to maintain a function of balance and respect and abide within the rules of cooperation, fairness, I hear authenticity as well. But they did not do that. They tried to impulsively step out and, in some cases, snatch other people's, this is karmic female energy, remember, snatch other people's blessings or creations for themselves. They were not being a fair or equal or balanced person or partner, and that's the lesson that they missed. They tried to compete and outdo instead of find balance, which is why they gave away their personal power instead of finding it through the process of finding balance, through the process of focusing on highest good, through the process of focusing on the rules of fairness and cooperation and teamwork. But instead, they, in some cases, negated the rules of cooperation and fairness and plagiarized other people's teachings, education, speaking, and claimed that they had the mysteries of life all figured out as they were plagiarizing from other people. So it is creating a major change. It's just on the negative for them because they chose not to be fair partners. In some cases, the same people that they chose to steal from and compete with and plagiarize from, those are the same people who offered them opportunities to actually be a literal partner, if not in some aspect of life or community, then in actual business in some cases. But instead they decided plagiarism and theft was a better option for them. It wasn't. But anyway, that's their hard lesson to learn, clearly. Also, for people who tried to play with moon magic, that was a terrible idea. Namaste. You silly kitty. What are you doing? You goofball. Hello. So, the message is don't dim your light to fit in. It's in reverse though. They were not supposed to try to outshine people by throwing dirt on people since they felt like they looked like shadows in comparison. It's precisely why they look like that. Look at what they're doing. They are. And on the flip side, they were trying to compete with somebody who is activated, continues to activate and elevate, who actually is in this high priestess, this cognizant energy, much more aware for, and certainly much more cognizant than they are, just based on that observation. Okay, so there is no releasing their karma from the situation. There's no elevating themselves from the situation, and there's no reclaiming anything because there's nothing for them to reclaim. They're having what people reclaimed from them, even just energetically, and there's a difference. This is because they were not coming from a place, as the previous card stated, of higher consciousness. Those are karma cards, by the way. These people were coming from low vibration, and so some of them this was something that Mommy Watatero has been picking up over the last week too. Are, in fact, a number of them. Whatever these karmic females were trying to do to get one over on people, it's finally crumbling apart, and or the finances are burning out behind it. So they're losing their places to live, or they can't try to keep up with the Joneses anymore. They can't keep pretending like they have it when they don't. And there's something about not being able to manipulate people into giving them or being able to take from people the way that they were. So now some of them are being forced to go live with their family members, or being offered to live with their family members. Some of them were given this opportunity before, but they decided they wanted to try to double down and avoid that. Double down meaning continue to lie about light workers, continue to slander, continue to try to take credit for our work, continue to try to fight against us as if we were about what they were doing, which was illegal and frankly unethical, but that they weren't a problem for doing those unethical and illegal things that they don't want people to know that they're doing. So obviously, even they do know it's a problem, no matter how they try to deny it. Evidence. 622. In this case, they came after people who, comparatively speaking, are master alchemists, people who are already in tune with themselves and have already cleared this space of energy that these people are trying to project or to clear through. Elevated, I hear. Also, to be clear on the title, that's Emergence, meaning like how a butterfly will emerge from a cocoon, not emergency. And then there's the transformation on this light worker energy, finding a balance point between the two, but being able to alchemize a situation, that master alchemist, including even the slander and the daggers that were thrown, spiritually speaking and otherwise, by these karmic energies. 722, 44, and 55. Notice those numbers were coming up a lot over the last week with the plagiarism energy. One of these plagiarizers even claimed to have an attachment of 555. Exposed. So here's the gag on this. They were being warned to stop playing with spirituality and pretending to be things that they weren't, like in touch with the divine and also mediums of any kind. And they wanted the smoke, right? They wanted all the smoke. That's slang for they wanted attention. They thought that they could compete, but turns out it's not what they wanted. And it's because the divine has exposed them. They don't have any support, as it came out earlier. These are people who, there's also an attack at the throat chakra and the heart chakra being attempted right now. Yeah, somebody trying to do spell work to tongue tie or bind. No. Hold on, I need to check the oven. I think I'm going to take those out now. Pretty good. I think I'm going to wait on the other round. All right. These are people who claim to be spiritual practitioners or seekers of wisdom of any kind of sort, especially divine in this case, but they're not. These are not people who are tuned in. They were false. 922. These are people who are not good decision makers. They did not make the right decision. Targeting people, especially true gems. Yeah, that was not it. Collectively speaking, or otherwise. Oh, and what did I say? That was not a wise choice. And now they're stuck with it. Stuck with the karma. Stuck with the consequences of trying to force fate and or anything in their favor. So there's that. Then there's this. We've got the karmic male side. You know what's interesting? When I pull, typically speaking, I find that when I'm reading on the Divine Feminine, it's a lot more short and sweet often, and then it's often more deep. It goes deeper with the Divine Masculine energy, but in this case, more karmic cards came out for the males, the karmic males, than they did for the females. It was interesting. So there's a reference here of there not being anxiety about serving others. So these are people who were greedy and selfish, and they were anxious, so they wanted to cause anxieties in other people. This is also about, these are people who wanted light workers to feel anxious, under attack, at being in their life path or their purpose or their destiny of standing up and speaking out, or whatever it is that they're called to do, because this is what threatens these karmics, or holds them accountable, or makes them look in their mind like they're fake, which they are. But 1222, especially when that's what they've been saying about other people, they don't want that to be proven about them or to be seen about them. So now they're in trouble because they did not do what they must. See, this goes into fiduciary duty and responsibilities. This may have to do, I just got a flash of this, I'll pull some cards on it momentarily, but to go a bit deeper, 1212 on the clock. This may have to do with karmic males who were targeting divine, not limited to, but especially where there were children involved, and or they were just really acting immature. So the serving of others, right? When you get nervous, focus on service. It's not what they did because they were their karmic south node. I hope they're okay. There are workers outside. I don't know if you heard that. So, serving others brings, it's two things about this. It might not be a very common path, okay, for true light workers to serve others, like, for example, the way that I'm standing here doing so right now. But on the flip side, whatever it is that each individual is personally called to do, I'm not talking about the plagiarizers and the doppelgangers, it brings a new perspective to the world in their own line of sight, meaning they have an ability to see the world in a potentially positive, different, constructive way. These are people who can come up with ideas to help positively change humanity. But this is not what they did, because they were too busy judging others who see things from a much broader, vast, expansive perspective. These were people who were too busy misjudging people who are able to find different ways of looking at things, or can see things from much more than just one perspective. 1522. So because they did not do what they were supposed to do, because they were trying to block called to do, what they were legally and spiritually to do, things are being forced to change very quickly. There's something about Uranus, also something about emotions, and then also there's something about karma coming back here. I'm picking up. I don't know exactly what this is yet. Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Uranus is, and it's also a reference of disrupting the status quo, and that's precisely what the reference was. It's also referencing a great awakener energy, 1622, and that was a message in the karmic female energy, was it not? Yeah. Not the karmic female energy, but the divine feminine or the divine masculines were coming out as high priestess energies, activated, awakened, awakening on even greater levels, growing, continuing to grow, and also being able to help elevate others. But these karmics weren't even willing to do the work. They were trying to ride off people's coattails and frankly just straight up steal other people's shoes. So there's that. Here's the next one. Also, this is why they're anxious. They thought that targeting people would help them not be more anxious, but that's exactly why they're anxious. It's part of their karma. They're trying to project it out. The universe is either trapping it in their own aura or making it boomerang back. 1722. And even if these people try to energy vampire off of others, they have holes in their aura. That's like trying to fill a bucket that has holes in it. There's a hole in my... Dear Eliza, Eliza. So your vision, what's new and different. Okay, what was this last one? Unusual example, different way of looking at unexpected change. An unusual example of your vision, different way of looking at what's new and different about unexpected change and the use of it in an unconventional way. Okay. So, two things on the top one. Unusual. These people shorted themselves, refusing to grow while they were trying to block other people's growth and step on their toes. Like there's a reference of having a unique perspective on the world, but there's not that when they're just copying and trying to knock other people. For starters. On the flip side, they were targeting people who have a vision, a clear vision of the world and of situations and dynamics, even energy, an unusual perspective, an unusual vision, something that might be different from the norm, but it works for them. However, again, not for the copycat thing. That's not it. It's not even an energetic match. So a different way of looking at what's new and different. This is somebody who's able to discover new pathways, passageways, again, insights, perceptions, ways of creatively problem solving or seeing things, etc. But again, they were too busy judging and misjudging people who were different for being different, even though that was the innovation. Do you know how many people probably looked at Henry Ford as if he was absolutely insane while he was trying to create an automobile? What else? Or Orville Wright for inventing the airplane? What do you need an airplane for? We've got cars. We've got boats. Or what about Alexander Graham Bell for inventing the telephone? What do you need the phone for? We've got the mail service. USPS. All right. But now we live in an era where people wouldn't even dream of living without a world that has those things in it, you know? It's just not even a thought for most people. Okay. So positive change can come from seeing things in these often uniquely positive perspectives, but not when they're being shot down by toxic, misjudgmental people. I hear asshole to elbow. Yeah, and they weren't qualified, frankly, to recognize either from the other, I would say. Observation. So this karmic male energy, they're not at peace. They're not at peace. This is giving Lemuria, also Atlantean energy, and in this case there was destruction. People wanted powers that they saw other people had, or land, fertile land that had abundant resources of fishing and things that were growing there, fruits, vegetables, etc. It was beautiful, and they worked together to keep things sustained. There was clean water. It was thriving. And these people wanted it for themselves, but people like that come in and destroy things because they don't care about the damage they're doing as long as they get what they want in that moment. This is why they do not have divine support, also not of the Earth Mother energy. They don't have divine protection either. For coming after Divine Feminine, who was just stepping into her highest alignment, it made them jealous. Just being one with herself, growing. The lily blossom looks like her lotus. Yep, she's following divine order and path, practicing patience, knowing that while they were creating, this looks like a Sophia flower to me. While they were trying to create blockages, she knew that it was just a temporary setback, but not a permanent obstacle. And so these people, they've got no protection because they were not grounded. They were people who people needed protection from. They had no chakric balance. It's toxic. On the flip side, they came after a divine feminine who is a transformation angel that came out in the karmic female's energy too. Not for them, but for divine feminine. So on both accords, it's giving, hello, in my case, Archangel Zadkiel, transformation angel. Forgiveness angel, absolutely, but also the karma angel. Angel of mercy, just mercy and compassion and forgiveness, yeah, but also justice and karma. Moon angel, healing angel, past life regression angel, for starters. Affirmation angel. Dream angel. Protection angel. Also Justice angel. Part of the Justice League. Trinity. The three. Zadkiel, Uriel, and Michael. So these karmic males were spinning illusion, or trying to. They were casting illusions and or also gaslighted themselves into thinking that what they were doing was working or would work, that they could try to force people asleep or out of being aware of what they were doing, or thinking that they could have any any control over the situation. So they wanted divine masculines to basically stay asleep and not step up and help protect divine feminine, and divine feminines to stay asleep so she wouldn't step up and seek to call for help or protect herself. 2522. Yeah, well, they didn't know what they thought that they knew. Oh, look. Oh, how funny is that? That's so funny. The Book of Destiny. Well, I did a thing about that yesterday. Okay. Well, there's this, right? The angel numbers do not support them. They're on the negative. I keep picking up nines for them. This is a closure, especially in relation to money. They're going to have to pay back what they took and then some because they did not listen to messages that were heeding them to stop. They were insensitive, but they were not listening. Oversensitive when it came to taking accountability, but they were insensitive when it came to respecting other people's boundaries. Yeah, they were so certain that they were going to get away with it too. But they were not listening to divine guidance. So, like I said, I'd tell you good luck if I knew you had any, but I know that you don't, so good riddance. And there's the truth bomb on that. Clarity. That's what you get for messing with an air sign. Okay. Now I say that because if the lightning strikes in that, that's air sign energy. To be clear. Crystal ball is about clarity. I just heard storm angel as well. Yeah, they don't like this truth. I heard that. I wish you'd just shut up. You make us look bad. Am I telling the truth? Divine Masculine says, well, if that makes them look bad, it is bad. Yeah, exactly. I agree. It's not really a matter of agreeing, it's just observation, so that's correct. Thank you. Appreciate the rationality. Light chimed in with a, haven't you people ever heard of closing the goddamn door? No, it's much better to face these kinds of things with a sense of poison rationality. What a beautiful wedding. But the groom's bride is a whore. So there's something about this karmic females being, ooh, I just got cringies. Yuck. You give me heebie-jeebies, girl. It's giving promiscuous thought energy. It's not giving wife. I hear that's why she's sister she was broken up with. Not to shame people in breakups. There's nothing wrong with being single. There's nothing wrong with taking time to learn yourself and love yourself. But in this case, these are people who, they're not healthy people and they don't end up in healthy relationships. And there are plenty of situations where there are healthy people, or, you know, everybody's got their stuff, but relatively healthy people, comparatively speaking, and they're often targeted by people who aren't. And that's the thing, is narcissists do target empaths. Dark people do, because I'll explain why, the psychology behind it. See people trying to shame that whole concept, whether it's psychologically speaking with a reference of narcissism versus empathy, or any other combination of crossover, it's the same. So the narcissist wants somebody who will be a giver, who will constantly forgive them, who will put up with their nonsense more than other people, who they can give crocodile tears to and they'll feel bad for them. And then the empath, they just keep giving, and then when the relationship starts falling apart, because really what's actually happening is the mask is slipping on the narcissist. They start going into overdrive to do more of the things that they think will help rebalance the connection, failing in some cases, especially without the psychological comprehension and understanding of the dynamic, when they think that it's just a matter of communicating more or putting more effort into the relationship, because they've yet to figure out that what they're trying to get back is the person who was wearing a mask. You see, what they are seeing over time and what starts to slip, what they think they need to heal so they can get back to the other thing, that's who that person really was under the mask. So you're not really getting back to anything. You're just trying to get back to what you think is something. What you think was something, though, was the facade. They really are just toxic. And so it's a perpetual cycle of the light worker constantly trying to give and help and heal the connection, and then the narcissist trying to take advantage of them. Until the light worker sets boundaries and stops it, it does and will continue, either until the light worker leaves and stays gone, until the karmic finds a new narcissistic supply. And sometimes, here's the third piece, that doesn't even do it. Because sometimes they'll try to keep you as a narcissistic supply. So even if there is a separation period, when one of their other supplies falls short, they think that at least they've got you on the back burner as long as you will let them. So often, because narcs try to play the victim and also play the good guy and the hero when they're not, empaths are drawn to that. Or they try to pretend to be empathetic and they try to mirror our energy. So, right, we give to them, we give back to that, but it's about realizing that it's not a mutual exchange. That's not always dynamics. That's exactly what that is. That's the psychology behind it. Right? So the narcissist is a taker, and they're drawn towards a giver, and the empath is a healer and a nurturer and a giver, and that's what the narc wants. So, hey. That's why they try to gaslight and play up on your empathy and keep you on this cycle. And then that whole thing about spinning the narcissistic supply, trying to run back, spin the block, that's called hoovering. And it's actually based on the Hoover vacuum. That's what the concept is referencing, because they try to suck you back into the relationship after you've left, or once their other supplies have fallen short or are no longer options for them for some reason. Maybe they figured it out and left, whatever the case. So, there's that, my darlings. I do have a couple of other things before I crack into that one, though. Let's do this. And I would love to see, can you get me some mental energies for these karmics? What are they thinking? Introspection. Now they're stuck in their heads. They're distracted because they are realizing that they didn't know what they thought that they did. They're sleeping. That's not awake. Can you get me some energies on what they're feeling? They do not feel protection. They feel like they're left stripped bare. And they are. What are they wanting? They were wanting to either stay unaware, or they were wanting other people to stay unaware. That's why they were upset at the truth coming out. Doubt. They're wanting to not be doubting their choices, and they're wanting people not to doubt them. You know what? I heard that earlier. I heard a karmic male try to go to someone and say about a divine feminine, you can't believe anything she says, and this and this and that, except for whoever they were speaking to didn't believe him. And by the way, that is how he sounded. that weird, gruff, kind of impulsive, arrogant tone. It just very toxic. And there was no truth behind it, but he was so desperately trying to convince whoever he was speaking about it. They already knew the truth anyway, but he also looked desperate to them. For starters, I don't feel like that's the only thing he looked to them. None of it was good. But that was one of the things that they observed. What they're wanting is to feel valuable. What they're wanting is for us to feel invaluable. They did not want us to see our worth. They did not want people to see that they have no value. Yeah. What they're also wanting is, see, this is what they were hoping or wishing, that if they're patient for long enough, they would be able to see things clearly. But they can't. Because it's that energy where it's like a karmic wanted something and they were trying to force it to happen, even though the divine wasn't for it. It wasn't for their best interest or anybody else's. It was selfish and malicious towards others. I heard evil, illegal, nasty, malicious personal gain. So they thought that if they were patient for long enough, they would be able to manifest whatever toxic thing that they weren't supposed to be trying to force. Except for that's not how you do that or get that. It wasn't about being patient for long enough. Or let's say if they thought if they were patient for long enough, then they could force the false narrative they were spinning about the light worker. They could convince people that they were telling about being the originator of content that they were stealing. Or coup d'etat, if they had stolen it for long enough, they could claim that it was theirs, or they could claim that since they had taken it over for so long, then people should just get over it since they'd been doing it for so long. But that doesn't... Do you hear yourself? Imagine somebody trying to say that about a murder or a sexual assault victim. Well, it happened a long time ago, so you should just get over it. I'm like, that's not how criminal law works. Period. There are no statute of limitations on these crimes. Not the ones I'm picking up. In fact, there were in some cases, but now the laws are being restructured so the victims can go back and prosecute older crimes because there shouldn't be statute of limitations on some of these things. There isn't on murder. But now there's not in many places on sexual assault regarding children especially. See, people pushing for just causes forces things to change. The butterfly from Chrysalis. And it gets anchored in on a positive note. Yeah. Wounded. They are wounded. And that's what they wanted to do to others, was wound them. So what else? What are they doing to get what they want, or trying to do to get what they want? They're being blocked. They can't keep trying to snatch things and blessings and situations or claim things that aren't theirs. They're being blocked. Guarded. Now they're trying to shield themselves or cloak themselves. Yeah, they can't do that either. Can't cloak yourself from the divine. They tried. They have no power. Neither do the dark forces they've been trying to play with. Like I told you, manifestation in reverse. They're not manifestors, and they're not manifestation teachers either. Yeah. Those daggers they tried to stab at us, throw at us, those boomeranged back to them, rise up in reverse. And they stepped in it. It's like they sent snakes out to attack people who they thought were defenseless, and those snakes turned around to bite them. Because they had no right. They're the opposition. So there's that. heard that. What are you making? Oh, a whole bunch of stuff. Lots of roasted veggies. I'm going to make a sauce for them in a little bit. Kind of roasted veggies, all kinds. Broccoli, cauliflower, sugar snap peas, squash, just sweet potatoes. I'm going to make a sauce for that one later. Also, I have some bread starter. I've been really giving some love lately, so that's about ready to go. I'm going to make 3 or 4 loaves of that for 122. And somebody says, what are you going to do with all of that? Freeze and give away. Also, kale chips and maybe some spinach chips too. We'll see about that. Definitely going to use some of that for smoothies too. I have lots of stuff I've been working on today. I think my laundry is done too. I need to go switch that again. Yesterday it was my let's get stuff done out of the house today. Today I'm catching up inside. Let's see, shall we? Your karmic's crying, especially karmic female. Divine masculine, what he's thinking about. Honest communication with divine feminine. That she is his best friend. I think that was the last song I just posted on my community board, actually. Feeling about her. Yeah, that she makes him feel young, that they also bring out each other's vibrancy. And there's also a level of healing happening here. I do feel like it is a physical, even cellular regeneration. And that did come out for divine feminine. So there's that. Effervescent, I hear. What he wants with her. He wants this connection. Even if there are things that seem like they may be between them, they're really balancing to each other and they draw each other. There's something about handling responsibilities. And this is also, I feel like, in life together. It's making sure that I hear home and hearth. Making sure that everything is safe and stable. That's what he's been working on. Or this was also in reverse. It's like he doesn't want to have to keep working on any or all of the responsibilities. Maybe that's what he's been doing. Maybe he went to really buckle down on his finances and focus on business for a second, but now he wants to go spend time with her. Tell me about this divine timing card, because it did try to fall sideways or in reverse. I do feel like it's exactly. I feel like it's because it's time, or it's getting to be time. I heard the first one reading out for him to communicate. Yeah. Something about forgiveness too. I feel like it's an I'm sorry I made you wait. Sorry it took me so long. I'm sorry. Also, something about maybe he was nervous or trying to feel out the situation. He didn't want to be mistreated, or he didn't want her to leave or something like that. He wanted to make sure she was interested or something. Don't play games. That's how you'll push her away. But he's saying that while he was trying to make sure she really wanted to connect, like maybe he pulled back to observe, he's saying if she felt like he wasn't interested, he's sorry because that wasn't the case. manifesting the one. Yeah, he says, I realized there was no need to pull back. It's not like you didn't know how I felt. And also, it's not like it changed anything other than caused a bit of like a riff or a wedge between us. Yeah, he says there was no need to do that. He says, I feel like I wasted both of our times. Can I make it up to you? Let's spend some time together. You know what? I smelled, I made a joke about it in the doctor's office. They had a physical alignment yesterday too. And I started smelling chlorine water. And I joked, and I said, smells like vacation to me. Like pool water. It smelled like a pool, a swimming pool. I heard that from a Little Mermaid. That's funny. What does Divine Masculine want? He wants to honor these feelings. He knows they're real. Told you. He wasn't listening to the synchronicities before. It's why he pulled back. Benefit of the doubt. Yeah, he didn't give her the benefit of the doubt. He pulled back 4722, probably because he had been burned in the past and he wanted to make sure she really cared. But here's the thing, so had she, and she didn't do that to him. Yeah, he says something about her being more mature than him in that regard. He's admitting it. He's honest. He's aware. It's not like he's oblivious. He says, I just don't want you to be mad at me. I mean, I don't want you to think that it's anger. It was not nice and certainly disappointing. Certainly not very fair or balanced. But yeah. Yeah, so she pulled back to love herself. He says, I see that. Spirit soul path. But it also called me back to you harder. Told you it was Zadkiel, affirmation angel, love language, affirmation. So what he's doing to get what he wants, wanting to spend time with her, gift giving. This could be the gift of also spending time. Maybe they go somewhere together. Maybe he takes some kind of burden off of her plate or something, or maybe even just his presence. Look, the gift of his presence helps her relax. But there are also exes or third parties, either jealous karmics from Divine Feminine's past or jealous exes or karmics from Divine Masculines. Honestly, this could be even a mother in some cases. Yeah, not wanting them to come together. Even though they're a perfect match. And this is a healing connection. They just are being called to let go of the past and not worry about money. God's got that. Put in the work, of course, but they didn't want them to connect because they know that this is a successful, they could also have business stuff together. But there's definitely a psychic connection here. Very gifted couple. Yeah, see, that's a twin flame connection. And they recognized each other. And what he's wanting is to spend time with her. And for this heart chakra to be and stay open. You know, I also picked up earlier that karmic female energy trying to attack the throat, I believe, and the heart chakra. Yeah, well. What masculine, what is he doing to get what he wants with Divine Feminine? He knows she's worthy. He's honoring her worth and her value. He's allowing things to open and flow organically, divinely. He's allowing himself to open up to this space of love. He's being guided towards her. Wow. So he's honoring that. Even if he didn't expect to meet her at all, or when he did, again, he knows there's something different about this. And so now He wants to tell her, honor her, you cherish her. He says for the rest of his days and then some. What is the final outcome? Benefit of the doubt. So this is him taking that leap of faith. Honoring the fact that she has self-love and respecting himself enough to honor his own intuition and real feelings, especially given the fact that the divine is calling him to come take off the mask. Manifesting the one. Yeah, he says, I'll take off mine if you take off yours. Because she may have pulled back when he was, when she felt him hiding himself or trying to pull back or something, she said, all right, bet. Peace. Say the X and O's for another note on ghost. He says she thinks I'm a thought and a player now because she thinks I was playing games with her. She thinks I'm not trustworthy. She thinks I'm out diddling around or dillying around or dealing with other females. He says other bitches and broads. I hear verbatim. I'm like, all right, those are words. But that's what I heard. Karmic females. He says she would call them. He says, but I'm not. I've been focused on her. But since I pulled back, she thinks I'm. He says she thinks I'm an F-boy. I do have one more deck to pull right now. At least one. Well, I've got 3 in front of me, but we'll see. Sorry if that was loud. It was louder than I thought. She's almost kicked though. I had to clear the bottom right out. Who took the time this last couple days to check out the moon? Did anybody say how pretty? Still pretty. Oh, sugar. Divine Masculine says, what happened? Nothing. My grinder's just empty. Which is a very solvable problem, not a huge issue. Just, whoops, oh, sugar. I thought I had some in there. A little nuggy jar. I heard that. That sounds crispy. It's good dispensary grade. Medical cannabis. So it's good. That's a correct audio observation. Good call. Very nicely cured. Full of trichomes. Sorry, that was squeaky and loud. All right. I'm also going to light a bit of sage. Hi. Thank you for the help. I saw 5622. Oh, that evil eye. Felt that. Speaking of, told you. Male. So I felt it in the third eye, and then as I was saying that, told you my throat chakra jumped. All that blue, though, told you. Also the throat chakra and the heart chakra attack. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Not for coughing, just because it was unintended and it was very close to the speaker. So they have body jealousy and envy, or they've got issues, whether this male or female. I've even seen some males, if they don't like their body or they're not confident with themselves, other women's or other people's confidence makes them very angry. It's so strange. Evil eye can even come from compliments, whether this be somebody giving a compliment that really does mean it and is well-intending, whether maybe they think about how, they kind of wish they were like that too or something. That's still the evil eye. Also, for these people trying to throw the evil eye at me, you're trying to throw the evil eye at a gypsy. Do you understand that reference or even what you are doing? Clearly not. But I saw that, and it was unwise. Indubitably. Moving on. On the flip side, well, I guess there are two ways. I just heard underhanded compliments, those digs. You know how if somebody tries to give you... Okay, here's one. Like, oh, that's pretty good. You did a good job for you. Let's say you do a project or you finish something. Oh, that's pretty good for you, for what you're capable of. A very backhanded compliment. That's evil eye. But so is the frenemy who, whether it be conscious or subconscious, is giving compliments not because they really feel this way, but because they're jealous. Unexplained mental distress. Yeah. See, I told you that crown chakra attack, I felt it. Because they feel like you've wounded their ego by not telling the truth, not letting them bully you, which made them feel some kind of way. And that's the thing. These are people who feel the need to bully people to make themselves feel like they're in control or to feel good about themselves. So when they bank on making themselves feel better, in other words, when their self-esteem is banking on whether or not they can hurt your feelings and you do not let them, they think they'll make themselves feel good by hurting you, and when you don't let them, it hurts them more. They were banking on making themselves feel good, giving themselves an ego hit, an ego boost by hurting you, and you hurt their feelings more by not letting them. And now they're more mad. But that's not your fault, that's their delusion. Sounds like they haven't gotten out of the tunnel. See? People trying to lash out. Yeah. Because of jealousy with in regards to children, or because of people who've been attacking you and your children, or those are the people sending the evil eye, but don't worry about it. Whoa! See, this fell. Archangel Michael says they've been trying to play with spell work because they're jealous. They don't want you to be with someone else or be happy or move on. This could be a karmic female jealous of other divine feminines because she doesn't want divine feminines to be happy and in love. I hear she feels like it makes her look bad. She feels like in comparison to divine feminine, she looks like a karmic. So she doesn't want divine feminine to be in a happy relationship or in a stable, happy, safe family home dynamic with her kids because she feels like it will make her look like a karmic and then nobody will ever want to be with her. How selfish is that? That's what makes you a karmic, girl. I hear this is somebody who's even willing to make false complaints to CPS in order to try to target divine feminines just because she's jealous. How gross is that? Because she also thought it would make her look undesirable to a guy, like a divine masculine. Oh, that's so gross. Yeah, trying to cause blockages and problems. And I did notice that yesterday. 622. Here and there, little things tried to go wrong, but just as soon as they did, my spirit team, yesterday was Del Rey's birthday too, including Del Rey. 22 on the clock. I also caught 11:11. Just as there was one problem, 11:11 hit the clock and it was immediately resolved. Or something else came through to immediately resolve it. They tried to cause blockages and problems, but my spirit team knew it was coming and had resolutions for everyone immediately. Every single time. So they tried to mess with my whole day, but my spirit team said no and protected me the whole day. Yeah, see, this is narcissistic. Told you. It's not a secret. That's why it's in reverse. They're obsessed with you. Oh, look, there it is again. So shameful of them. Oh, see, there it is. They feel like in comparison, they look like shadow people. They feel like if divine feminine is seen by the world, then they will look like karmics comparatively and nobody will want them. So they want her to be hidden, or they wanted to slander her to try to make themselves look good. They feel like as long as nobody else is around, they don't look as bad, or they can try to claim that they're something that they're not. And what is there to compare it to? Nobody will know the difference in their mind. That's what they're thinking, right? Or if they're copying somebody, as long as they try to target that person either into minding their hermitude to get away from these people, or goodness forbid, then again, there will be no one to compare. In other words, they think that nobody will notice that they're copying somebody since they tried to kill the competition, literally. Or bully them offline by trying to play with fake accounts. We've seen that. It's not new. These people are confused and clouded. It's why they're trying to throw crown chakra attacks, because they think they're the victim. It hurt their feelings when you wouldn't let them bully you or called them out, and so they think they're the victim. They're not. Can I get some for the karmic males, please? In fact, get out of there. There are some karmics trying to do power of 3 spells. Let's do the cult and the covens first. Tell me about the cult and the covens. Yeah, see, it's somebody, he probably not necessarily in your circle. If it is, it's somebody that's trying to force their way around you. Maybe somebody that you used to deal with. They're jealous of your material possessions, assets, resources, etc., and they're hating on your come up. They know you're about to pop off, I'm hearing, and they wanted to get all up in it. They wanted to try. Okay. So they wanted people to be sick to their stomach, upset. Or that's what they do to people. They're nauseating. Yeah, see, because they create imbalances. They're imbalanced. And so they try to create imbalances for other people because they're happiness haters. They're bored with their own life, so they're focusing on yours. Yep, told you that's been a theme this week. Of those doppelgangers, plagiarizers. That's why they were trying to block your blessings, wearing fake smiles to keep, not us, but trying to keep people blinded to who they really are. Or really, I mean, in some cases, we did a whole bit this week about people who were clearly frenemies trying to pretend like they weren't ops while they were stealing and plagiarizing. They think if they take out the competition, then nobody will know that they're stealing it from somebody because that person will be gone. Mm-hmm. You know what I've also picked up? I have picked up that some of these karmics, like online harassing copycat karmics, for some readers and people, it's been coming up like they're trying to message your family or this or that. But I've seen something like some of these people, especially if they were supposed friends, they knew about exes, or let's say divine feminines and children were being targeted. They knew about some of these people, or they saw posts that were being made, like private or, you know, posts that friends would see. 6722, knowing who some of these people are, and instead of supporting the light workers, whether it was back then or now, they've been either doing or thinking about going and either trying to add the abusers and the ops of divine beings to try to gang up with them, or they have in the past. So there was a message this week about like inboxing your followers or something. Followers doesn't necessarily mean people that you want. Some people follow us that we have already told to go away, right? Clearly, it's been happening with stalkers. So in that case, let's say that you've got local stalkers and then you've got somebody obsessed with you online. It's like the person obsessed with you online thinking that they can better get at you by trying to pair up with the local abusers. I'm like, what? Oh, birds of a feather. More toxic together. Yeah, see? They're just mad because they can't get in your VIPs. You think that allying with the other people who can't get in is your best bet? Cool. Scummy bummy bottom feeder behavior, but all right. Doesn't seem very personal growth evolved. Seems like somebody who's afraid to be alone. Not intuitive. Certainly not psychic. Not somebody who should be trying to pretend to be psychic or teaching classes on spirituality or intuition, ma'am. Yeah. In some cases, if it's these karmic males, they're jealous of the divine masculines, especially since they know that he's being protective of her. Yeah. Maliciously wishing you harm or misfortune. Your confidence triggers them. Yeah, well, what's wrong being confident? Oh, I told you. Trying to gossip and spin things out of context. Oh, see, that's not for us. I know that some of these karmics, I mentioned it this morning, have skin issues, eczema, and things like that. Sudden unexplained weakness, laziness, fatigue. Unexplained lack or loss of appetite. Feeling lightheaded or dizzy randomly with, I told you, those crown chakra attacks. Or that they're so toxic to people, they're gross. They make us not hungry. This might be an X for some people. Tell me about these karmic males. Hating on your vibe. 1:11 here on the clock on the East Coast. They're gossiping about you to others. Trying to do spell work on you. How embarrassing for you. Jealous and envious of your relationship. So they're mad that you're being with somebody, or even if you're with yourself, that you won't be with them. Hating on your happiness. This might be somebody who doesn't realize that sitting there hating or stalking on your socials is absolutely the evil eye. Friend. This is an ex-friend or somebody that you cut out of your circle. Divinely protected. You're being divinely protected. It doesn't matter what they try. Yeah, they might be directing subliminal posts towards you. But you know what? Here's the funny thing. They're the ones stalking us. These are people that we don't go near or we have blocked or, you know, they're just screaming into the void. Because they're the ones following us, trying to see what we're doing. We're not checking on them. You trigger their deep-rooted insecurities. Unexplained and random chest tightness or palpitation. I told you, those heart chakra attacks, I felt it, but that's a symptom of that. So if you feel that, just call for some, old issues from the past returning randomly, or people. I feel like this is people who brought problems trying trying to spin the block. Or like you saw this week, sometimes it's that energy where it feels like you're dealing with previous karmic energies, but it's through a new person, and it's just the same dark spirit moving through a new one. It's just the same thing. It's the same toxic principality energy. Just found another vessel. Let's clear it, shall we? I already lit some, actually, before it came here. So that tells you how toxic they are. I already feel that energy lifting, actually. All right, tell me about these karmic female energies, please. Thank you. They want the person who is romantically interested in you. You're being divinely protected from them. Doesn't matter what they're doing. I'm gonna stop after that. All right, it's a group of them. Somebody who's tried to recruit gang stalkers. Oh yeah. Somebody who's jealous of you, tried to compete with you or steal aspects of your business. I heard slander too. Possibly somebody who tried to, once they realized that you figured out that they were stealing from you and weren't really their friend, tried to go link up with abusers or people that they knew were hurting you because they thought that they'd had a better chance of oppressing you. You know, that's going to catch you criminal. I saw that. I've seen it, honestly, for at least a couple of days now, on and off. Just keep dismissing it because they're not relevant. But in case you think I don't know. Yeah, it's just jealousy. They envy your material possessions and assets. And it might not even be those things. It might be, like, it might not be that somebody is rolling in dough, but they made good investments. Or when they do spend their money, they invested in lasting value or something that will have some kind of long-term benefit, you know? They what you have. They just want more. So they're wanting to cause anxiety, dread, fear, depression, frustration, anxiety. They're wanting to trigger people, it seems like. Yeah, because they're wanting things to go wrong, or they're wanting to cause triggers by trying to make things go wrong, create disturbances. This keeps coming up. Somebody connected to a family member. They're envious of your relationship status, even if it's just that they know that you have something healthy coming for you. Look, they stalk your social media. We know that. They can't stand to see you happy. I see somebody hitting the report button. Why don't you hit the block button instead, you weirdo? There it is. That's your answer. Because misery loves company, and they want it. Why don't you just hit the block button and stop trying to make yourself miserable and give yourself something to complain about? Well, because they want to be miserable. That's why they hit the report button instead and keep stalking. lurking. Stay woke, economy screaming. Yeah, okay. So, it's like something you had planned for yourself suddenly feels out of nowhere. That's in reverse, though. They wanted to create blockages, and they're not able to be stuck in a victim mentality anymore. We just ripped them straight out of that. I think I'm going to drop the mic right there. Please remember to pray. Do no harm, take no crap, and I will catch you on the next one. Blessings and namaste.